Alright, pot roast. It's one of those recipes that everybody does a little bit differently, from the ingredients they use to how they serve it. But I think two things we can all agree upon is that it's flavorful and is tender, and this one has just that. So to get started, we're gonna take a 3 to 4 pound beef chuck roast, you're gonna pat it dry, and then we're gonna trim some of that extra fat and silver skin off, and you can just throw that away. Then we're gonna heavily season this with some kosher salt and black pepper, and make sure you don't go light on this. This is a really big piece of meat, and we need to make sure it has plenty of flavor. Now we're gonna leave this beef on the counter for about an hour or two so it can come to room temperature and season. During that time, we can complete the rest of our prep, so you're going to take 4 garlic cloves, and we're looking for a rough mince here, and then you can set that aside. For a lot of pot roasts, you're going to see the combination of onions, carrots, and celery, and this is a mirepoix, so we're going to be doing the same thing here. Take 2 small yellow onions and give that a rough dice. Then for the carrots, we're going to peel these, and then I'm cutting into quarters, then slicing and mincing. Now, don't worry about being too accurate on the size here. Everything cooks down in this pot roast, so it's not a big deal. And in the exact same fashion, we're going to take 2 celery stalks, cut down the middle, and then slice, mince, and then you can add it to the same bowl as the onions and carrots, and your mirepoix is done. This next part is just for garnish if you want. I'm taking a handful of curly parsley. We're going to finely chop and set in a small bowl away from everything else. Now my pot roast might be a little bit different than others you've seen because I like to use tomatoes in mine. So we're going to take 2 to 3 Roma tomatoes depending on the size, cut the cheeks off these, and empty out that gel in the middle. We're looking for a small dice here, so what I like to do is take each tomato cheek, cut into a few slices, turn around, and then dice into pieces. Once done, you can set these tomatoes in a separate bowl from the mirepoix and place off to the side. For cooking, you're going to want a large pot or a Dutch oven. I would suggest stainless steel or ceramic due to these tomatoes, and then put it over medium heat with some olive oil and add in your beef and sear for 2 minutes on this first side. We're looking for some nice browning on all sides of the meat, and continue this process until all sides are brown, and it takes about 8 to 10 minutes. This is also going to give us some delicious fond on the bottom of the pot, which is going to make this pot roast so delicious. Now once your beef is all browned, you can take it out and put it on a tray or a cutting board, and then reduce your heat to medium low. Now we're going to add our mirepoix into the bottom of the pot, give it a good stir, and cook for about a minute. Then we're going to take a nice pinch of kosher salt, add it over the mirepoix, and then give it another good stir to help get some of that moisture out. Altogether, this will take about 5 to 6 minutes until everything is nice and soft. Then we're going to take a cup of red wine. I'm using a Tempranillo here, add that into the pot, and bring it to a simmer for a few minutes until that alcohol has started to burn off. Now we're going to add 2 cups of warm beef stock along with our tomatoes, and then for some extra flavor, I'm grabbing a couple sprigs of rosemary and 2 bay leaves, add it, give it a stir, and then bring this all to a simmer. Then we're going to take our beef and put it back into the simmering liquid, and make sure you get all the juices that were left over on the cutting board and put it into the pot. Our last step is to spoon some of the juice on the beef, and then we're going to put it into a 300-degree Fahrenheit oven with the lid askew and cook for about 4.5 to 5 hours. Now you're going to know when your beef is done is when you can take a fork and poke right through it. And afterwards, we're going to spoon some of this sauce right onto the beef, and then we're going to take that parsley that we've had sitting on the side and garnish the top, and then your beef is done. So I like to shred my pot roast so it can soak up some of the flavor and juice, but I know other people like to slice it. You can also make a gravy by straining out this liquid and then cooking it down in a pan. Alright, for plating, I think pot roast goes absolutely amazing with some mashed potatoes, so I'm adding that onto a plate. Then we're going to make sure that we've got plenty of beef on there, spoon a little bit of that extra sauce and tomatoes on top, hit it with some parsley, and you're done. If you guys like the video, please like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.